Hi everybody, welcome to Asteca Animations. And for today's video we're going to talk about what is the most important thing talking about animation. The 12 principles of animation. So first, what are the 12 principles of animation? Well, some decades ago, two old Disney creeps that were actually pro animators decided to create these principles and they wrote them in the book Illusion of Life. This principle's purpose was to make animations smoother and more realistic, and since then, they have been the Bible of any animator. So the first one is squash and stretch. Now, to understand this, look at the classic bouncing ball. Looks pretty cool, right? But why? Now, look at this other bouncing ball. Something's wrong, isn't it? Well, let's split the animation and see what's the difference. As you can see, the ball that looks cool have stretch and squash, and the other one is just a solid circle. This is the best example of the power of stretch and squash, but it doesn't apply just for a ball. Stretch and squash is present everywhere while animating, like in these examples. The next one is anticipation. Every movement happens because something caused it, and anticipation is how we represent it while animating. But look at the example to feel it better. Let's imagine you have to animate a character throwing a ball. What happens before he throws the ball? He must first take a boost in order to join up all his force to throw that ball. Well, that's anticipation. And this happens with every single movement. Number 3 is staging. This is pretty simple. Staging refers to place the character and all the elements correctly and nice on the scene. It is to represent the idea you have so clearly that the audience won't have any trouble understanding it. It has to represent clearly the mood, personality, expression of the character, etc. Now, let's continue with straight ahead and pose to pose. This is the way you animate your scene or action. In pose to pose, you plan every movement before animating it. You first draw the extremes, then the keys, poses, and at the end, the in-betweens. This helps avoiding mistakes and the animation looks clearly. In straight ahead, you do exactly the opposite. You animate like in a straight line. And this is very useful for animating more organic things, like maybe fire, water, an explosion, etc. The next one is follow through and overlapping action. This principle gives to our character the feel that he respects physics. What this principle says is that not everything stops at once, but first one stop and then the other, like in this example. This character with long ears is running, and when he stops, the ears will do this. That's what this principle talks about. Let's continue with slow in and slow out. Look at this pendulum. What happens when it comes up and down? It goes faster and then slower. Well, that's slow in and slow out. Now it's time for the timing. This refers to the number of drawings or frames per action, and this will be reflected in the speed of the animation. When you do more drawings, the action will be slower, and if you get less drawings, the action will be faster. Now, the next one is secondary action. This happens when, for example, let's think about a character with a tail and a long hair. The main action will always be what the character do, and the secondary action are the tails and the hair. And this is taken in account while animating. And now let's go with exaggeration. This is an effect that just makes the animation look way better than if we don't use it. In this principle, the thing is to exaggerate every action, creating a better imitation of reality. The perfect example is when you animate any character expressions, like this. It looks awesome, right? Now let's see it again, skipping exaggeration. Now you may understand why is that important. And now comes the arcs. This principle what says is that everything moves in arcs, just like here. If we don't have these arcs while animating, you will lose any naturality and it will look wrong. Now, let's talk about solid drawing. This one is what I consider the most important of the 12 principles. In solid drawing, you have to think of your character as a three-dimensional object. Remember, he has a volume, a weight, and this is very important while drawing it. It also refers to maintain the same shape in each one of the frames. If you don't keep it, this will happen. Looks horrible, right? And last but not least is appeal. When we talk about appeal, we're talking about the ability we give a character to connect with the audience. The audience needs to understand the character, to feel what he feels. This in an actor would be the charisma.